What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to CM Aviation. Hope you're having a fantastic day today, and today I have a very exciting video for you all. Today we'll be taking a look at the Gemini Jets 1-400, Canon 3000, Boeing 737-200. So yeah, here it is. Here's the box right here. As you can see, you got the AeroClassics here in the top. This is a very fascinating aircraft. We'll talk about all the reasons, but anyway, here's the box. I think this is sometime in the 2000s. It very well could be a little bit later than that, but that's what I'm thinking. But anyway, AeroClassics titles. Here's the cutout here, the aircraft, Boeing 737 right there at 1-400. It is a Boeing trademark, so they do have all the licensing and other applicable items that you would want for an aircraft like this. And here's the back with a Boeing 737 jetting off. So yeah, this is quite an interesting aircraft for many reasons, because as you may have got a tease of there at the beginning, it certainly does not look like an AeroClassic. So here it is, the AeroClassics Canon 3000 767. So first off, you might be wondering why I have this. Well, I actually got it for $7 at Jet Collector during another order, so it's like might as well get this as well. So can't really go wrong for $7. But number two, and this was a indirect discovery, very cool. What a coincidence it was. As you can tell, it looks more like a Gemini to me, and I didn't even know AeroClassics had any involvement with Gemini Jet's classic 737s at any point. So whatever it is, regardless of who made the mold or like I said, what it is, it definitely is not a typical AeroClassics aircraft with these fixed-in gears, because as you can tell, they're not rolling in like the newer 737 Classic mold that we've covered a couple times before. So it's certainly very fascinating here. We have quite a bit to take a look at with this aircraft, so I'm not even going to waste any further time. We're just going to go ahead and get started with all these details and really, once again, jump into what exactly is going on with this particular aircraft. So that being said, once again, let's just go ahead and get started. So here's the cockpit windows right here, looking very nice. Got the nose cone. This is as basic as it gets. Like, this is just very simple AeroClassics like detail, but it's so weird to see it on this particular mold. So definitely got to note that, but certainly very fascinating for all those reasons. But as you can see, you got the nose landing gear door once again, so that's looking strong. Then you got the L1 door right here as well, so happy to see that. And you also have where the ladder would come out. If you don't know, the 737 Classics had ladders, and they used them pretty often at quite a variety of airports. So of course, that was very important to have that established. Here's the Canon 3000 billboard titles. Those are looking quite nice as well. And then, of course, not any pitot tubes or any crazy detail like that. So once again, I think that's why this definitely came out in 2000, early 2000s or so. And once again, the mold just really aligns with what you would expect there. So now this aircraft probably does have some sort of first class up here, so you'd expect that to be going strong on there. So that's pretty cool. And again, titles are italicized, so that's pretty nice. And you got the wing with the ring roots. That's looking pretty cool as well. And here's another really big giveaway to me, is that one-piece mold. You can definitely see that, and again, it just screams the Gemini mold to me, and I'll keep showing you more reasons. So here's the wing. The indentations look very inducive of Gemini jets. I mean, you can also tell by the metallic color having that capability. I just don't see any way that's not a GJ, so that's immediately standing out. And of course, you also have the wingtip there with the red, so that's very nice as well. But you also have the engines, so you can definitely see that. And you got the thrust reversers, which are really cool, so awesome to see those. But again, just by looking at the curvature and the mold proportions and so forth, it certainly looks like a Gemini. Fan blades are really inducive of it, and AeroClassics typically would not quite be as... The word here is going to be challenging to find. I guess depth, but it's really not depth. Like the amount of definition that this mold has just completely thumps any AeroClassic I've ever seen. So once again, there's the one-piece mold. That stand hole in the landing gear grooves just really are inducive of that. And the main landing gear, again, that doesn't look like AeroClassics at all. And maybe it is. Maybe the scenario that I'm going to worry about, that could be why it's on clearance. I don't know. But very cool to see that. And again, the one-piece mold, very fascinating. But you have all those applicable details on there. And then you can certainly see the middle here where you got the emergency exit. So that's very nice. And I'll show you the bottom a little bit more here in a moment. But just kind of looking at the rest of this aircraft, you can certainly see the registration right here, which is Charlie Foxtrot November Alpha X-Ray. So that's pretty cool. And not any other detail in the fuselage. It's just nice and simple. It's not crazy. You know, it's just one of those aircraft that you would expect. You know, it's just one of those that you kind of expect. So certainly that's what I'm thinking of when I think of this aircraft. And then you got the tail back there, so it's a pretty fascinating tail. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with this particular tail regarding its design. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a thumbnail. I don't have my other camera lens here, but you can see that there with the back piece right there, so that's pretty fascinating. I'm sorry, just the door there, but the gold and the purple looks just like the Washington Huskies in the United States. That's pretty cool. but I'm not exactly sure what they were shooting for on this. But you get the L2 door there, and you got the horizontal stabilizers and APU detail as well. So all that's pretty sharp and definitely looks quite nice. So again, it's just fascinating to see how that all came together. So there's kind of a different look of all that. It's pretty nice. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top of the aircraft. There it is. Very basic, just like an original Gemini aircraft. Again, really get a good look at those wings. Just go ahead and zoom in for you so you get a really nice look at what I'm trying to describe here. You can definitely see, how that would be closer to a Gemini, and also the emergency exit and so forth. Horizontal stabilizers also in alignment. The curvature of the mold also speaks to it, but again, it doesn't look like 100% like a Gemini, but 80%. These landing gears down here, they're close, but they look a little bit different. And again, this could be a Phoenix or somebody else. That nose landing gear looks very similar to it, but there are some, traces of it being another manufacturer. But just really looking at this aircraft, and who knows, I don't know if JetX would have had one or who it would have been. And there was so many Seattle model aircraft maybe even had this mold. I don't know. But regardless of exactly how we got to this point or how this aircraft is what it is today, we can certainly agree to the fact that it's certainly not what a typical AeroClassic would be. So that's definitely very important to note when thinking of an aircraft like this. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this here in the middle so you can get a better contrast on it. So yeah, it is certainly a very fascinating little aircraft at the very least. And for $7, I'm very thrilled to have it here in my collection. So yeah, it's certainly quite an interesting looking airplane. So yeah, $7, that was it. So definitely glad to have it. And it's certainly a mystery mold. I'm gonna have to do some research on it, but again, it is cool to see all these crossover molds we've seen. We've seen Phoenix and Gemini work, obviously shared a 767, so who knows what actually happened with that. And then obviously NG's even shared some 737s when they were getting started. So now this discovery as well is pretty fascinating too. So yeah, that would be a fun video to make sometime, is all the crossover molds in the any scale, but 1 to 400 definitely there's been so much to cover. So definitely let me know if you all would be interested in seeing a video like that. I think that would be pretty fascinating to make. I certainly think there's quite a bit of value to learning about these molds and exactly what's going on and how this industry as a whole really functions. It's certainly pretty fascinating to see, all the differences and so forth. And, if a factory has access to a mold, I guess they let other companies use it, which is certainly, that's likely more rigorous today. But at this time particularly, Gemini was involved with a bunch of it. And I also think that, there's a case to say that, AeroClassics and Phoenix especially were really in this particular boat. So it's definitely fascinating. Let me know what you all think in the comments below. I'm certainly very fascinated by it and eager to learn more. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes up next. But nevertheless, I really hope all of you enjoyed this. Thank you all so much for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Just process. Do what you love and love what you do. My name's CM Aviation. I want to thank you all so much for watching. And I'll see you all soon. SEM Aviation is signing off.